From Dumbarton. The Clyde becomes even wider during this section of your journey. You're leaving behind the outer suburbs of Glasgow and moving on through Dumbarton towards Helensburgh. Looking out over the estuary, you'll see vast banks of mud and sand. Keep watching, particularly if the tide is low, for this area is rich in bird life. The rhythm of the sea, coming and going twice each day, transforms this landscape. It washes ashore all sorts of flotsam and jetsam. But as it recedes, it also reveals the salt marshes, sands and mudflats of the tidal waters. These are perfect feeding grounds for various species of birds. Look out for the smart black and white oyster catcher with its orange beak, the tall grey heron standing still at the water's edge, and the small but chunky turnstone. If you have the chance to pause and wander in the area, you'll hear the plaintive call of the curlew. Altogether, an amazing 20,000 wildfowl come each winter to feed on these mudflats between the tides. It's an ideal area for bird watching.
My name is Simon Foster, and I've been coming down to the coasts and the estuaries around Scotland since I was a teenager, and that's over 20 years ago. Probably seeing the massive flocks of waders on some of our estuaries has to be the truly most amazing sight that you can witness. For me, seeing large flocks of knot or dunlin getting up in the air and then also being pursued by, say, a peregrine falcon coming and slicing its way through the flocks and flitting about and the birds appearing to maintain their shape in a massive synchrony, that's quite amazing, really. Other times it can just be seeing waders incredibly close and confiding. You know, even birds close up, such as oyster catchers, where you can get close enough to see the bright red eye of the adults. And you can go out any time of the day, even at night as well. It's worth standing by an estuary and you can hear birds as they pass by, and the noisy call of the waders. And because many of them are so distinctive, you can actually identify a lot of birds which are on the estuaries.
But it's the redshank in particular which makes this area internationally significant. There are some which breed around the Clyde. They leave this area for the winter, flying southwest to Ireland, Spain or Portugal. But many thousands of redshank breed further north, particularly in Iceland. They come to spend their winter here in the rich habitat of the tidal areas of the inner Clyde. They'll find plenty of food even at this time of year: eelgrass among the salt marshes, shrimps, shellfish and marine worms. Waders are not the only wildlife to be seen. The Firth of Clyde is one of several areas around Scotland that are particularly favoured by harbour porpoises. These creatures are small, smaller even than the size of a person, but they often compete for the same food as the larger dolphins. Porpoises are fairly solitary, and when we see them they're probably travelling, looking for shoals of fish rather than feeding. As you watch, they'll disappear from view, diving well below the surface for a minute or more in search of a meal of herring or sprat. Although they're quite small, they need to catch about 7 kilograms of fish a day. This is one of the best things about living and working in Scotland. It's so easy to get close to nature. Here we're not far at all from Glasgow's city centre, yet there's an array of fascinating wildlife on display. Most of Scotland's major urban centres are beside a tidal estuary or the sea. The diverse habitats of land, fresh and salt water attract all sorts of birds and mammals, which, if you're quiet and patient, provide a wonderful wildlife experience.